A very warm welcome to the grand final of the PGL Asia Minor Championships 2017. Live coverage from Beijing, just around the corner from the grand final between Renegades and TyLoo. That's right, it's take 3 in the grand finals in Asia Minors between these two teams. The previous two winners, of course, TyLoo looking for a third consecutive Asia Minor title, but Renegades look pretty strong in the upper bracket. We're back at our desk once more to break down what we can look forward to in the grand final and a little bit of a review back over the last 4 days worth of Asia Minor Championships games. And back with Blair and with Natu, all ready for the grand final.
Yeah.
This should be quite good in theory. I mean, with the way that Renegades came through the upper bracket and the way that we've seen TyLoo destroy two teams in the lower bracket today, hopefully we're set for a good final.
I think it's the best two teams of the tournament, definitely meeting up here in the grand finals. And for me at least, the two MVP candidates in Bentet and Nifty facing off one another. So I think we've got a spicy one coming up here. And like you said, take 3 between these two teams.
Yeah, they're just about to come out into the main stage right now to rapturous applause from the crowd, probably for TyLoo, probably not for Renegades. Just because, you know, home team advantage.
China number one. China number one.
Quite possibly,
yeah.
that's true, yes, I don't know.
Yeah, no worries with the bias. It's exactly what we think. Although I've been to China a few times. They're decent, respectful crowds, aren't they? They do cheer and clap for the other teams, just not as loud.
Yeah, and yeah, the fan culture there is definitely something different compared to the western parts of the world.
Absolutely. And there we are, Renegades joining TyLoo, their nemesis in the previous two. It's their 4th consecutive Asia Minor Championship final as well. They lost the Mongols in the first one, TyLoo in the next 2. Is it 4th time lucky in the final and 3rd time lucky against TyLoo?
I mean, they beat TyLoo once in this tournament now, right? So they know how that tastes, and you know, it's always the thing is that remember these teams come here for the spot to the major qualifier. So like the first target right now has been reached, but there's of course. There's a bit of money in there too, you know.
And bragging rights and seeding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that does help, and you know, obviously for the guys that have been there for Renegades, losing all those finals, it does make sense, you know, that they're going to be there for vengeance for sure.
Yeah, there's a slightly different TyLoo lineup, of course. Let's talk about stats, courtesy of our friends at HLTV. TyLoo are plus 213 on the KD ratio right now, 1.35 and 1.20 rate as a team, which is really good. And more impressively, perhaps, Bentet has been our MVP pretty much throughout his.
Except for one game.
So
except
far.
for one game.
Except for one game.
Yeah.
He's plus 86 in 9 games. 1.74 KDR, 1.48 rating. He's so far ahead of every other player in this tournament. It's absurd.
Crazy thing is, like, no one knew about this guy till about August last year when NXL picked him up. That was the other Indonesian team. And then he joined Reka immediately after. And when he came on, everyone's like, yeah, okay, what's going on? How does this guy have 2.0 rating against like some of the better-known teams in Asia? And everyone's like, yeah, he's an online guy. Then he saw him on LAN.
Onliner.
And they're like, yeah, he's a lucky guy. Then it's on the China Cup where he wrecked Fnatic Academy. They're like, 2 times lucky, Fnatic Academy, they're not Fnatic, it's fine. Then here we see him in Asia Minor. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt remaining in anyone's minds right now. This guy is by far the best CSGO player Asia has ever produced.
Absolutely. Well, that's good words, great words as well. He still needs to live up to that, I think. Yeah.
In CSGO.
Yeah,
in CSGO.
In CSGO, yeah, I was going to say, because there were a few legendary Korean players back in the day, 1.6 as well.
And Chinese as well.
And Chinese too, yeah. I would go with what Natu said earlier on, though, Blair, and see whether you agree with this or not, and that is that he still needs to prove himself against international teams. We're now going to get the opportunity to see that at the offline finals. How do you think it would do?
Absolutely. I think he's really going to do well, because here's the thing, right? Like, when we saw him on LAN, it was against some pretty decent opponents. Like, we have Fnatic Academy in China Cup right now as well. He's been really going off against Immunity, although, let's be honest, like, you know, Immunity really didn't show up at all today. But looking at the way how consistent he's been, that's the most important thing about this guy. It's not just about having one great map or a great game. It's just so bloody consistent. And it was unfortunate that he couldn't get his visa in time for Star Ladder, which is why we didn't see him. They got Zoking to replace him. But I would have loved to see him back then. And I think this is a great opportunity for him to show what he could really do against the best in the world.
Okay, let's move on and talk about the other team. Renegades on their screen right now, just getting ready to go into the match, and we'll take a look at their lineup as well, and we'll pick out one particular player on this team. No surprise here, Natu, we're going to pick out of this lineup. He is second pretty much on all of the lists that you can find right now, except for AWP kills. I just want to read you this back. The top 3 AWP kills so far in this tournament. Kaze is third with 41. Mo is second with 72. Nifty is top with 126.
That's quite a few. He's to me, him and Wizard have been the two players that have really surprised me, to be honest with you. Both being nifty as well, like very, very smart, just reading situations correctly time after the other, and then putting himself in situations where he is in a massive disadvantage to being able to isolate. Let's say he's in a 1-on-3. He manages to isolate his opponents into 3 individual one-on-ones. Obviously, credit goes to his opponents as well for playing a little, not the perfect Counter-Strike, but still it takes effort from you as well to put yourself in those situations. So he's just been phenomenal this tournament. I think that one of the revelations of this tournament.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And the other players that we should talk about, JKS as well. I know he's one of the old boys, as it were, in the team, but he's third right now in terms of rating, 1.22, 1.35 KD, plus 52 kills so far. And perhaps more importantly, most clutches of any player other than Nifty. They're both on 8 right now.
See, I just realized something. I'm sure he's made a bet with one of his buddies, said that he's not going to smile before he wins a minor.
He looks really, really sad.
Let's hope he wins a minor so we can actually finally see JKS crack a smile.
That would be good, because he does look a little bit sad right now. Let's take a look at the vetoes. I've got a feeling, weirdly, like a premonition, that TyLoo are probably going to go for Mirage here, and Renegades will go for Cash. What do you know? That's incredible. How do we know that?
You're such a god.
It's throughout the history. It's funny because throughout the history of these teams, it's basically always been these maps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Occasional terrain here and there has been in the play as well, but it's been left out this time around. Mirage Cast and Cobblestone. This is a classic Renegades versus TyLoo matchup, even though the lineups have changed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of lineups, it's pretty interesting, right? We have an Indonesian.
Yes,
we have a North American. We have an EU player. We have a Chinese team, and we have the Australians. It's a pretty international tournament. Doesn't feel like an Asia Minor.
Yeah. No, I like that.
Good one there, sir.
Are there any? There were only the Thai teams, weren't there, that had 5 from their own country?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because even the Lebanese team had 2 Jordanians as well.
The Mongols.
Oh, Mongols, of course.
Yes, of course. Yeah,
5,
Mongols and the Thai teams. Yeah.
So 3 of the 8 teams are the only teams with 5 from one country. I mean, it's very unusual, isn't it?
And it's good
normally.
I mean, it's becoming more and more a trend where international lineup, having an international pickup seems to be more of a trend everywhere in the world. I mean, it makes sense. There's only so much talent that the individual countries produce. So Counter-Strike is a common language, to say the least. You can come up with ways to kind of try to cross those barriers that come with the language. And at least if you look at TyLoo, for example, that's a massive language barrier to have, and they've managed to make things work so far and made their way to the finals, for example. So yeah.
Are we wrong, Blair, in building this up as not only TyLoo versus Renegades and Part 3 and Revenge of the Renegades and all that kind of stuff? I don't know what the third one would be, but are we also building it up properly in the fact that it's Nifty versus Bentet again?
I do agree. Nifty was phenomenal yesterday, although he was a little quiet during the group stages. And hopefully we don't see that Nifty. We see yesterday's Nifty. And if he comes up, and here's the thing, he's not just, even though he's a designated operator, we've seen him being very, very awesome with the rifles as well. The pistols, he's almost like a Bentet, kind of. We saw Bentet opping as well. And speaking of players, even though it's Bentet and Nifty, we did see JKS having some great stats. And let's talk about the other guy in TyLoo. Let's talk about DD a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been very. He doesn't seem to be like the star player, but if you just look at the stats.
We haven't spoken about him at all, it feels like, during this tournament. And there he is, sat in second place in terms of rating right now.
And that just goes to show how much it helped for Captain Mo to start calling again for the team, because DD was calling for the past 2 or 3 months. He's kind of bottom fragging for the team. He was alongside HZ, and then suddenly Captain was like, you know what, young laddie, I'm going to call for this particular minor.
You can go back to fragging.
And he's been fragging like a madman.
He has. Let's bring in the commentators. We're almost ready for the grand final. Gents, I guess you're looking forward to this one. We're hoping for not so much of the stomp that we had in the lower bracket.
Yeah, hoping for a good game. Obviously, I'm hoping that Blair will also stick to his guns here on whether or not China is indeed #1. So, yeah, exactly. Some stones, as you would say. So, Blair, what is it? Are you going China #1? Or are you going to go
around it very
again?
quickly. One word. Who's your team?
China #1, 2-0 TyLoo.
How many words was that?
Quite a few.
Definitely not one.
Natu?
Renegades.
Okay. Vince?
I'll go Renegades.
Dust?
As well, Renegades.
Okay, 3 Renegades and 1 non-believer. Let's find out whether
believe.
we're right. He's gone with stones, though. You've got to give him that. Enjoy the grand final, ladies and gentlemen. It is almost upon us. Renegades versus TyLoo, take 3. Gents, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Paul. Yeah, this has the makings of a potential classic. The last best of 3 went right down to the 3rd map and overtime and overpass. We're not going to have overpass this time. Instead, it's going to be Cobblestone. But the rest of this best of 3 will be the same.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, obviously TyLoo winning Mirage in that initial series. It was Cash that went to Renegades, and obviously Renegades in overtime was able to take over past 19-15, pretty dominant there. Obviously Nifty was huge, but Azza was really key in that overtime period. And obviously both teams kind of have their stars, but they've also been known to have like pretty good performances from their entire lineup at different times, or at least big individual plays. Nexus Deagle Ace, for instance. I thought Ustilla was really good for them in some of their nuke games, getting entries on T side. So they've definitely gotten some production out of the rest of their lineup. But yes, surely, you know, you got two, you know, MVP candidates going head to head for the entire tournament in Bintet and Nifty.
Yeah, and for those of you that are curious about how the two maps went last time around, 16-10 to TyLoo on Mirage and 16-8 to Renegades on Cash, just to give you an idea as to what could be on the cards. I'm hoping it's a lot closer than the previous best of 3, and I'm sure it will be. I can't see it being that much of a stomp. I think these teams are much more evenly matched and evenly balanced. But again, it does come down to if Renegades hit the ceiling that we know they're capable of. If they do have an off game, then it could start to be TyLoo just running amok over them.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Renegades will be able to do something other teams haven't been able to do, which is punish TyLoo in making some of the overextensions that they make, as I think Renegades has a little bit more teamwork behind them. They looked so sharp yesterday, very good decision-making. Even though they struggled on Mirage and lost that map, their decision-making throughout the entire series was so on point. And so I'm hoping that that'll carry over, as well as their tactical diversity maybe being a bit more there. As we do see Nifty getting very aggressive at middle. There's 3 just waiting for him, though. It's a trap that has been set, and he may waltz into it, or he may get close and just hold this angle. There's also a B apartment switch. This is going to get so interesting on what transpires here towards the top of middle.
It's going to be Nifty getting caught. Azza did take a kill earlier, though. So it's going to remain an even affair. But now that Azza got the frag, he's moved up and stayed in position. So information has been gathered. Now you're expecting to see a Ustilla watch mid while the other player darts across to the A site and bolsters that defense. Now the terrorists starting to force their way through. JKS has picked up 1 and a second into the back of Captain Mo. Things starting to look a whole lot better for the Aussies. Plus the American, of course. Can't forget that. Bintet, one of the stars, has just been put down, and JKS will pick up a 4K. Exceptional work by him, and Renegades deflect the first pistol.
And we'll also give a shout to Nexa of Serbia, another country represented, as well as Kasad, the coach, over here on Renegades, which has become somewhat of an international team, though the core, of course, from Australia. And JKS, the A-side anchor here with the USP. Good maneuvering around the site to be able to kind of slip by the focus of TyLoo and get a couple of shots in their side. And that will put it to 1-0. But, of course, we will see TyLoo getting the force buy up, no bomb plant. So this is the usual pattern of things, as we see TyLoo going for a bit of mid-control and a Deagle in Bintet's hands, and you know it can be deadly. Not sure if Nifty even wants any part of that duel, but Ustilla holding a great angle will take off DD in the Palace, so already 1 player down for TyLoo as they're trying to use the rest at middle to find something, but not much is available.
Yeah, mid-control has been taken, but it's what they do with it that really counts. And when they have 0 nades to play with, a couple of players that have been tagged around 30 health, you are praying that one of these Deagles does start to connect some headshots. You will turn tail and run back towards the T-spawn side, maybe occupying B-apps in the foreseeable future. This time Azza hasn't pushed up, so the information isn't quite there for Renegades, but they know they have the weapon advantage. You can just sit back and wait.
Yeah, they do have 1 player here just kind of still waiting around towards middle, but the rest will be gathered up inside of the B apartments. They don't have any utility, so it'll be all up to their aim and just being able to get out there and hopefully overwhelm the defense, as there is still, of course, 1 player here. Jump spine is going to be next to the normal B-side anchor, but again, there is still that rotator on Catwalk who can certainly give assistance as soon as he sees something, and he sees it all. Here comes the rotate.
Does like to play off the back of the B-apps, does Nexa. He's going to see action. The scout has already ripped through one of the oncoming terrorists, though, and the bomb now being dropped on the site makes this an even harder affair for TyLoo to try and pick up. Solid frag by JKS. Now Captain Mo, who for the longest time was looking around window ladder room, he's going to put the P250 to use, but it's not going to salvage the round. Renegades with a quick fire 2-0.
Yeah, you definitely could see how that would have had a massive impact if his teammates would have had a bit more success actually getting out of the apartments, but unfortunately, for a lurk like that to work, the base has to somewhat pan out, and it just didn't. So it will be 2-0 Renegades, and now TyLoo will likely just tap out here at this point. They need to save their money. We'll see a P250 come out of Captain Mo, but that really should be about it. It looks like we're going to see 2 go towards A ramp, 3 with the bomb towards B apartments. And so I don't know if this is going to be some type of fake at A and then, you know, try to pull a rotate and try to sneak in a plan at the B bomb site, or if maybe they're looking to do some type of push through underpass to split A. Either could work here, as we do see them just kind of very passive at the back of middle. They might even just think to all gather up in 5-man A hit. That seems to be the case. But this is going to be tricky to deal with the player on top of the balcony and you still owe a JKS covering his A ramp. Don't suspect they'll get the plant.
No, there's too many M4s pointing in the direction of the oncoming traffic. And the roadblock has been a success. From this point, it's just going to be 1 kill. TyLoo will not get the bomb plant. At least a frag, though, and pretty much just Glocks and a couple P250s, so it could have been worse, but still, they are into an AK round, and Renegades will be replenishing those weapons. Nifty, as a result, having the P250 in the previous one, has enough for an AWP.
Yeah, curious to see what TyLoo's going to open up with. Again, against Flash, they were just really prone to doing some of the things they like to do as far as explosive play. You know, very, 1-4 type setups, very fast splits on either site, just trying to be, in your face as quick as possible. That's definitely their trademark. But they do have a bunch of set utility pieces on the A bomb site. They never used them versus Flash, I suspect, because of mind games, but you might see them out here against Renegades. Again, they also love the AA default, but this time it'll be the standard 1-3-1. Very passive as well. We saw this at times against Flash as well, just being cautious as Nifty. Again, he's going to be all over the place on CT side. He's in Palace now, but you'll see him be apartments middle and elsewhere. But no one's really giving just yet. Bentet holding Pack, not giving him a chance. That's a great pop flash, though, to follow up, but it doesn't affect Nifty. He gets the kill.
Yeah, such a versatile AWPer on this map, as you say. Expect to see him pop up all around the map depending on his spawn. As Red Eye said, it's a pretty crazy statistic. He's almost double anyone else in terms of AWP frags in this event. Also goes to show that Renegades do like to play around him and will collectively eco so they can get AWPs as much as possible.
Ooh, look at this push through T-spawn happening. It allows them to not have to focus so much on the A-bomb site and really get their efforts over here towards middle as Nifty has transitioned the catwalk already. That's what's so great about him. Once he finds that first kill, he rotates with someone else. He puts himself in a new position, and he's able to find another frag in this round, though he is getting a bit backstabbed by somebody who finds the double. Well done. It's a 2-on-2, low HP for the 2 remaining TyLoo members, though, and that's going to help soften it up for Renegades. And they will, in fact, finish it off. It got a bit scary, but again, you got to love Nifty, almost device-like in the way that he finds his pick and he repositions.
Yeah, very well played by Nifty in the end. And even though somebody did get himself a couple of kills towards the dying end there, and it's going to be another AWP in the hands of the primary. JKS has also picked up 8, that should be mentioned, although quite a few of them were in the pistol round, but he's been chugging along nicely. And he's always one of those keys to success as well for Renegades. You know, Nifty's been talked about a lot, but you've got the likes of Azza, JKS also are players that they can depend on to now and again pull off really big performances. TyLoo going to have very little coming through into this round. Looks like it's going to be a B hit for the time being.
Yeah, good utility getting out there, though, to slow things down just for a bit. But you got to suspect that once that is out of the equation, they'll be looking to make their way up. Nexa already has spotted one, puts up the smoke again. Flash is coming over. I think it'll just be a commitment from TyLoo to the smoke this time. And they do get an entry.
Yeah, bomb's going to now be pushing out onto the site. HZ with the headshot. Should afford them a bomb plant at the very least. And judging by the position they're in the M4 that's now in the hands of Didi, this is very doable by TyLoo. Nifty just with an AWP. Of course, you say that he's exceptionally good with the AWP, but not only the best of weapons to retake with. They literally line up for a Stillo player on the box. Didn't know what hit him. Trace Brandt, the spray transfer was on point, but so is the headshot from HZ. Didi comes in with a kill of his own, and a Tech-9 rips through another head, and that is going to be the 4-1. TyLoo, it was looking sketchy when the double AK spray came into fruition, but they just about hold on.
Yeah, that's crazy stuff. They were able to catch that kill at window behind the smoke. This one right here on the Azza. That one probably hurt the most as far as actually getting control of the B-bomb site. He continues it with a little bit more as well to make sure the bomb goes down. Like you said, a great lineup from you, Stillo, to give a little bit of a hope there. But it's just 8Z. He starts it and he closes it with that Tech-9. A beautiful round from him. He gets one a little bit early for TyLoo. And look at the repercussions. Despite the fact Renegades were up 4-0, a couple of close rounds and a good bit of rebuying has immediately forced them to take a save. Just a 5-7, a 250, and a CZ. That's it in 2 flashes. Double op for TyLoo on the T side. This is actually pretty crazy. I've never really seen them do this before. Double op T side, not very common. Only a handful of teams like to run it. G2 would be one of them. But yeah, they're going to go for it here.
And even then, I feel like G2 typically wouldn't want to go for one when they're against pistols, because madness can ensue when you have 2 orbs. All it takes is one lapse in concentration and things can go horribly awry. Smoke's been placed down in underpass. Somebody's down to 1 health on top of that. So the early exchanges do go favorably for Renegades.
Yeah, about the best you could hope for, that you're able to tag one down to 1 HP like that. But it's going to be difficult. They're going to stack towards the B-bomb site. You have to gamble in rounds like these, so you can't fault them for making this decision. It gives them their best hope of making magic happen. And they might just luck out, because TyLoo are certainly looking to knock on the door of this B-bomb site. You see 4 in the apartments, 1 middle, and here come the utility. They may fall into the trap.
This is where the double orbs can really start to sting, because you have a lack of firepower going in. The entry fragging not quite on the same level. Bentet.
Oh, the bomb's down
too.
too.
Has gone. The bomb's been dropped, but they're going to be pushing right ahead of it. So it may not end up being an issue. It was looking bad, and now Nifty, one of the only players that had really nothing coming into this, with a USP is going to try and clutch. Not going to happen. But that is 2 orbs that have been taken off the table. I'm not sure if they're not going to be able to get either of them. So that is pretty nasty for TyLoo. That's quite a bit of money lost.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of them was a picked up AWP, though, from Nifty, so I'm not sure they actually spent that money on the second AWP. They might have just carried it over. I'm not 100% on that. Either way, with that bomb plant and victory, they're still able to get a buy here, but it does set them up long-term for maybe having some issues when you have somebody in Captain Mo, you know, just around $1,000. So obviously a reset could be a little bit damaging if they were to lose this round. Meanwhile, you have Renegades, who are really up against the ropes, because obviously they're going to buy here off the back of that save, but they're right back to another eco if this doesn't work out, and that's when TyLoo can tie up the game, or at least they would very likely do so. You never know, though. We've seen a lot of anti-ecos go awry, and that seems to be a trend in the current gen of CSGO. But here we go, live at round number 7. Let's see what TyLoo's up to, as they have pretty much everything you could ask for. They're going to go for mid control once more, but they're going to do it a little bit faster pace, and they actually don't have any presence towards the A-bomb site, so this leads me to believe they want to do some type of quicker splits towards B.
Sad statistic for the Aussies out there. Renegades have already got more rounds against TyLoo than Immunity did in 2 maps. Something to just keep in the back of your mind. Can they extend and get a 5th and knock TyLoo down a peg or 2? DD did drop the AWP for Captain Mo, so it's going to deplete some of his funds. And as Dust mentioned, 2 players and $1,000, and it's going to be Azza who strikes from Connector, looking to pop flash to make sure there's no oncoming terrorist, but it didn't quite land on point. So the oncoming terrorist was not deterred from his pursuit. 3-on-3. TyLoo haven't managed to get out onto either site, but they're starting to get more control over the catwalk side.
Waiting to see what's going to give here towards Connector. This is an angle that you still is holding. If that T shoulder peaks a bit too much, he gets a free kill. It's kind of at a standstill, though. They took a lot of damage through Connector. That's why a lot of teams just throw the smoke by stairs rather than inside Connector, because you can get punished for it if you don't. And unfortunately, Bentek checks the wrong side. Free frag for Ustillo. At least somebody trades it. We're in a 2-on-2 with 30 seconds left.
Next is UMP. Will be moving on catwalk. Not the greatest at range, especially after recent events. But JKS with his M4 will be moving into position over on the CT side. He's going to be greeted by somebody who gets the spray partially through the box for the headshot. Nexa will return fire with one of his own, but he's down to 18, and he is known by somebody. Nexa's going to have to go for the peek. You have to feel somebody just has to play the time. Nexa does have a kit, so things could get interesting once he's moved onto the site, but he's been spotted and will be eliminated. Somebody picks up a 3rd round for TyLoo.
And so there you have it, TyLoo climbing back in. And the reward will be that Renegades has to go right back to saving. We discussed it, the economy not great there. So TyLoo, even though they're off to a bit of a slow start, a great recovery is on the way. As it'll be just P250s for the Aussie, the Serbian, and the American here. They will do a little bit of a stack towards the A bomb site. 3 towards A ramp. They may just push through and hope for the best, but DD is waiting for them. He's going to find that opening frag, and they'll follow up rapidly.
Rapid, certainly the correct term. No plans of stopping. But JKS is going to definitely slow them down somewhat. Bentet with 2. Azza and Nexa. Couple P250s. Bomb has been planted. Looking good for TyLoo to bring us back to even again. And although Renegades did start in fine form, you can't help but feel that maybe the party is over somewhat. Most of those came off the back of winning the pistol round. Nexa could be able to save a UMP, which wouldn't be a terrible take out of this round. Yeah, he's deciding to back off.
Yeah, so it's going to be 4 in a row from TyLoo in response to the 4 streak of Renegades. As you noted, really off the back of winning pistol. Since the guns have come out, Renegades have not been as successful. So it looks like we are going to have ourselves a tight race here early on, which is great to see something more competitive after the last game TyLoo had where they were not at all tested. That is for sure. They probably fell asleep a bit in that series, to be honest, but we'll see what's going to happen here as it is back to a full buy from Renegades. Curious to see where Nifty will be headed next with AWP. We've already seen him at Palace and Catwalk. Again, he loves to move around, and he never stays at one place for too long once he finds a kill. It will be a huge A formation from TyLoo right away, so keeping up with those patented 1-4 splits, it seems. And you know it's going to be fast-paced.
Player up on balcony, maybe able to stop them. That's going to be JKS. Let's see from his perspective now. Down to his right side is Nexa. And Estilo is in connector, so they do have a triple stack of players. And how is JKS able to come through with a kill? And now the bomb is right next to him. It's under his feet. They have to move to JKS. And you'd feel like Renegade should be favorites to take this round, but with somebody taking Azza out the equation, there may be another twist left in this round, or perhaps not. JKS threads the headshot, and Nifty puts it to rest. So the 4-round curse for Renegades has been lifted. Pick up a 5th.
Yeah, really well done there by Renegades. They were able to get a bit of a crossfire going. The timing at which the balcony player came down ladder was so massive. He almost got caught, it felt like, from Palace, but he was able to get in right away, and he had a crossfire inside the site, able to take TyLoo from front and behind as they waterfalled out. And so it is going to be Renegades taking the lead right back here. And TyLoo, they still have the AWP in Mo's hands, a couple of AKs out on the board, but Tech 9 utility for the rest. And Mo, he does catch Nifty, trying to be aggressive in middle, trying to change it up. And Bentet, the normal A player, such a playmaker, catches JKS. And now it's an instant 5-on-3. Everything's just crumbling for Renegades now as they scramble to try to make plays, and none of them are panning out.
Just hot off winning a round. Suddenly they face the very real threat of being reset, but Nexa is keeping this round alive, taking out both HZ and Bentet. Does lose 92 health in the process, but a great trade for the Renegades. Azza still occupying the B side of the map, not sure as to where the bomb is going to travel. There's still a lot of time left on the clock.
I'm kind of wondering if they realize where it's down at.
Yeah, in connector right now.
You would imagine so. They're trying to stick together, though. They know it's a 2v2. They know one is low HP. Azza has the kit. They want to make sure they give themselves the best chance of taking this round. So just being patient and looking to work together is going to be the call. There is one player, though, outside of window room, outside of B, that could certainly be a problem for them, as that bomb can be collected any second now and brought back to the A-bomb site. But TyLoo has to waste so much time clearing everything because they're not seeing anything out of Renegades. They have no idea where they're positioned.
Azza now on the prowl. Oh no, that's a horrible trade with Azza not getting the return kill, but somebody goes back in again, and now Azza's going to get the spray for the clutch. And Renegades, what was that, a 5v3 they ended up clutching?
Yeah, indeed it was. The 2 kill from Nexa is what got them back in the round big time. Got it back into a 2 versus 2. You could see what the goal was there. The repeat window was to try to buy time for DD to grab the bomb and get into the A bomb site. That wasn't an overextension. He needed to hold the attention of that catwalk player to give any hope of getting a bomb plant in. Unfortunately, he loses the battle, and then DD gets stuck near the bomb trying to grab it. And it allows for the clutch to roll through. So it's going to be 6-4 in favor of Renegades. It's going to be TyLoo now onto a force. Tech-9s across the board except for Bentet with the UMP. And again, the 1-4 splits keep rolling. This time it'll be B Apartments, the option as opposed to the A side.
Not deciding to push the trigger just yet, though. More feeling their way through on the B-App side. Nexa holding the bench at the back with Azza just on the site. How vital that clutch could be, but now we are going to have all systems go as they look to plow into the site with their Tech-9s. There's still UMP in play as well for Bentet. Somebody with a kill onto Azza. And Nifty will come in with an AWP kill of his own. The bomb's been planted, though. Just rushing straight into Kitchen, which is a bit of an odd decision. Maybe hoping that Nifty was by himself and they could just clothesline him. But although the TyLoo go in like lemmings, they are chipping away a lot of health from these last 2 Renegades members. Collectively, 37 health. Bentet has more on his lonesome. UMP is going to be deadly, devastating from this kind of range with such low HP. And he is going to thread the first kill and the second. TyLoo have pulled it off with pistols.
Again, just overwhelming the defense with sheer numbers at rapid pace. There was nothing really for Renegades to spot to be able to get the rotate off any better. Nifty did get in the market and a good timing with the op to get a kill, but again, it was just too much in the end. The DD backstab through window room certainly helped out there to shut down that retake. And then obviously, when you give Bentet a 1v2 where he has a clear health advantage, he'll pull him out in even crazier scenarios. You line him up with a good chance, he's definitely going to take it, it feels like. And so now Renegades right back to saving. TyLoo, great chance to tie it back up. So we have an all-out war here on Mirage. Very, very close game. And we're going to see TyLoo storming up Catwalk again, keeping up the tempo. And now they will find an empty bomb site.
Yeah, the early job has been done. They did lose a bit of damage on a couple of players, but this is the kind of situation where they will just mop up. They're still out. Top of mid with this P250. No real reason to save this. Not like he has Kevlar or anything. So you better believe he's going to go in for some exit frags. But whether you'll get them or not, it's a whole different question. Did Bentet just hit him in midair with an AK? Did that just happen?
Indeed.
Sound.
A little bit of flavor on the end of that. Again, Bentet definitely one of those MVP candidates for this tournament. There's no question. Easy time, of course, this round working against very little out of Renegades. It'll be this round, though, Renegades should be right back in buying order. As I say that, though, they want to make sure they can get the best buy possible, so they'll take a very low approach here. Again, this is because these rounds have come so close. Despite winning 2 in a row, their money got reset, and they didn't have a whole lot stored up. And so this means that TyLoo can just take the lead back now, as it's going to be a stack towards Catwalk and middle. I guess just making sure no matter where the bomb goes, they can quickly rotate as a 5 either direction. So not a bad mentality to get the free plant. As I say that, no, Nexa has already rotated back up Catwalk. He's got a teammate right next to him and one in market.
We see what this guy is capable of with Deagle on train yesterday. Is he able to rinse and repeat? No. Anticlimactic demise. UMP around to the face. He's going to stop that clutch before it is even possible. And it is a clean sweep, actually, by TyLoo. Everyone barring Bentet get themselves on the score sheet. TyLoo, as you highlighted, do retake the lead. But Nifty's going to have another AWP. Didn't JKS, though, really here, Dustin? You look at the scoreboard. JKS is on 15. Nifty's on 8. He hasn't quite had the same level of impact as the other games.
True. I would also say the effect distribution, though, for each team is pretty close. Like, if you look at both scoreboards here, you can tell that, like, no one's lagging way too far behind. It's not like someone's, you know, super skyrocketed up there either. I mean, I guess JKS is a decent bit ahead of the rest of his teammates, but it's nothing crazy as that smoke comes out of window room, blocking Nifty's vision. No harm, no foul. He'll just have to back up and find a new way to have an impact in this round. As we are going to see Mo trying to use that gap of the smoke to see if he can catch someone crossing jungle, but to no avail. So we do see Nex and Asa both playing aggressively on Catwalk. No jump spotting B apartments or anything like that. I think they're actually just trying to do a boost on the boxes, and then Nex will retreat back into the site. That seems to be what happened here. As it is going to be a bit more A pressure from TyLoo. They've actually slowed down the pace a bit as well, but as you can see, that bomb is still in spawn. It'll likely get picked up by this mid player coming back around, so it's going to be a heavy A hit. They do still have one lurking towards middle. That's going to be somebody. Is caught, though, by the boost of Asa. You can see the impact it's had now.
Yeah, it really does alleviate a lot of pressure from Asa. He can either stay around short, but now there's bullets flying at him. He's going to smoke himself out of danger. Smoke's not fantastic, though, but it does allow him to try and get up onto the fence. Very sketchy position when you don't have someone in underpass. For all you know, there's a guy now pushing underpass is about to shoot him in the backside, but fortunately, from his perspective, that's not the case. 30 seconds left, and Mo's going to start to funnel his way out, and DD does take down Asa elsewhere. Ustillo comes back with a kill, but Bentet is up to the task. The trade's going in favor of the Chinese. And now Bentet, the back of the site, is not necessarily needed anymore. It doesn't matter if he was, because he's just been put down by Nex's hands. Does get a bit of damage with his M4, but he takes just as much as he gives. And down he goes to the hands of Captain Mo. TyLoo take an 8-6 lead. The last round of the half, we'll see not too much out of Renegades in terms of firepower.
Yeah, reset again. I did not like what Asa was doing there. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense. You have a man advantage, and you put yourself in a position where you're literally just open to everything. A peek top middle, a peek from underpass. I mean, they're 180 degrees from each other. It's not like you can possibly cover everything. I mean, he was just sitting out there, an easy target at that point. You let them even the numbers. Now, granted, that wasn't the biggest issue there. I mean, it was just the fact that TyLoo had some great trades on the A-bomb site, but certainly if he was around, maybe he could have helped out a bit more. So you kind of wonder about that just a bit, but we'll see what happens last round of the half, as it is now TyLoo focusing 4 middle, 1A. The bomb's still down back of Cat. Don't want to commit the bomb into a forward position, but want to make sure they get control of ladder room and start exercising connector. But again, that smoke, it's too easy for Nifty to peek over. And now Asa's going to jump in there as well. Got to do better with these smokes, TyLoo.
Down, but certainly not out just yet. Bentet with another one. Pierces through the head. HZ will do very much the same. It's Nifty that falls. Now we're all even once more. That equality has been taken away, courtesy of Captain Mo's Tech 9. The bomb, though, is still under control by Ustillo. It's not the greatest position, though, because he has very little in terms of firepower helping him out. Now, he could get 2 separate 1v1 trades. That's exactly what he was hoping for. Can now smoke off his right-hand side towards mid. And now, if the terrorists want to push him, they're going to have to do so at a disadvantage. Looking to push through the smoke, and now Nexa is going to help him out. Ustillo has the HP advantage, has the positional advantage, but he's against HZ, who had a fantastic performance earlier on against Immunity. He is a rock. Molotov to make sure he's not in the alcove. Flashbang to ensure he doesn't get peeked. But now he's going to have to get a run on, get his skates on, straight to the side and get a plant. No, he's going to go for the frag instead, and he gets picked off from the M4 of Ustillo. It will end at 8-7, but that 1v1 could have gone either way.
Yeah, that was definitely a close one and a close half at 8-7. A little bit of domination early on from Renegades, but a great response there from TyLoo, who win, you know, those 8 rounds afterwards, only giving up just a couple here and there once the guns got out in play. So it is going to be a tense one here, as we are going to see how things kick off as we roll over into the next half. Renegade's going to have to see what they can do on that T side. Again, a lot of standard mid-control play on their own right, but they definitely can also pick up the pace with some of those faster execs you saw TyLoo running. They too can run a lot of those 1-4 setups, so they can also be assertive. We'll see what they want to do on this pistol round here. It looks like it's going to be mostly armor, except for Nifty, who will get 2 flashes, and it seems like he just wants to flash them out of B apartments. Just do some type of waterfall on B. Passive positions from TyLoo, though, on A and middle means they can rotate so fast to market.
Oh, Bentet has taken quite a bit of damage there right off the bat. He's going to miss so many bullets. That could cost him his life, but good guy, somebody is there to help his teammate out with at least 1 kill. Can he get any more from this? May not be required. Captain Mo steps up to the plate with P2000 headshots aplenty. dishing them out for free. And TyLoo take down the round. It's looking horrific at one stage when Bentet whiffed almost all of his bullets, but fortunately it was a very quick rotate that helped him out.
Yeah, again, it's because TyLoo were just sitting back in CT spawn and outside of window room. They were so easily able to transition into market, especially with somebody buying time, getting that kill onto Ustillo. And then just great work from Mo and company to finish the job here with those ranged pistols. You could see the teamwork they had going for them, always being able to blindside a player while they were focused on someone else. So good coordination leads to them taking the pistol. See if they can get the 3-0 start and match Renegades and what they did in the first half. They, in fact, had a 4-0 start. So you are seeing Renegades focusing up on top, middle, and underpass. So they may just try to do something heavy up connector. Could be one possibility, maybe even boost a player inside window room, try to get something sneaky going. Could also be the case. That seems to be what's happening here, but DD's ready for it. Or not. This happened to not look the right direction. And so that means that they can start backstabbing CT spawn even. Azza can cause so much havoc now.
Certainly is rough, but needs to make sure that he doesn't get flanked now. And that's what the case will be, is Bentet going through into window. Will best Azza. Now, however, Renegades have got to move on towards the B side. The bomb is going to get planted down. It's planted for short. JKS, close range of the P250, where it's at its strongest. This is where it can really ruin the dreams of oncoming CTs, but Ustillo's the man in charge with the FAMAS double spray, double headshots. Captain Mo is next on the chopping block. But he may very well become the executioner. There's the first one down. He's going to be running into another FAMAS frag, courtesy of Ustillo. A 4K in the round. Exceptional work, and Renegades sneak away with the round with, well, just a few pistols.
Yeah, great work from Ustillo on this post-plant hold, but you got to give credit to Azza. You know, getting inside jungle, he may have gotten caught right away, but what he did was pull Bentet off the B bomb site, and he opened it up for his team to be able to fight a couple of fights towards the catwalk and then get into B uncontested, get a plant, get post-plant positioning. And so he still had an impact despite only having that one frag, and good mid-round calling there from Renegades to transition it into a winning position. And so now they're quick to be able to potentially tie one of those scrappy beginnings to the half until one taps out the save. But it won't be this round.
TyLoo's turn to feel the burn in terms of their economy. Captain Mo, just a scout, no Kevlar. UMP, no kits, lack of nades. Captain Mo going to be peering into underpass. Exceptionally slow round by Renegades. They must realize that TyLoo are very much weakened in this round, financially crippled. So playing the anti-eco, not allowing any free, pesky pistol kills to come to fruition. But Captain Mo takes the head clean off the shoulders of Ustillo. The hero from the last round has been laid out cold. How do Renegades look to react to that?
They still have JKS inside Palace, and they're starting to get control of connector. The problem is there's 3 players in the A site strong, so they're actually running into the stack. They have to just find some key entry. JKS using the distraction and the chaos to get out of Palace. He blindsides 2 players. He has a chance here, but he has to 1v3 an ace, but he just has so much to worry about. He's getting backstabbed at the same time. He's trying to hunt it down. He grabs that, reacts. Oh, if he could have got that kill on Bentet, maybe you fancy his chances, but it was just too much to ask of him. And so TyLoo, they will take another round. Thanks to the force. Now Renegades just forced right back. That's really the question, isn't it? I think not. I think they may concede here. So TyLoo, they are the ones to be the victors of the economic control.
Interesting enough, it's TyLoo that call a timeout. I would have thought the Renegades may call it to really think long and hard as to whether they want to force into this, because they know that TyLoo, they're vulnerable as well. It's not as if they're basking in a whole bunch of money. They are down to their last few pennies. But Renegades must realize they're already 8-10 behind. If they force in and lose this, TyLoo could take a 12-10, a 12-8 lead, in which case Renegades are in a spot of bother. So maybe just hold off on the buy, come through into the next one, see if they can do a bit of damage with the likes of P250s.
And again, sometimes you'll see these games where it just goes back and forth for like 6 or 7 rounds until someone finally gets 2 in a row and forces the other team to tap out. But this time around, Renegades will voluntarily step away from force buying just to make sure they can get that nice full buy in the next round. They get, I believe, 2 P250s, one on Azo, one on Ustillo. So that's it. This should be a mop-up for TyLoo. This should be just a formality. Should being the key word. We always have to have that caveat, it seems, these days, as it looks like they're going to go for that window boost again. And HG's paying no mind to it. DD has to worry about connector and the jungle flank at the same time. So, I mean, a bomb plant could happen unless they just get mowed down in connector.
Well, DD does have one of the best weapons to make that a reality, the AK-47. 30 bullets to rip through the armorless, the naked, the vulnerable Renegades. 3 he will pick up. JKS. I actually like that he's trying to tap in that situation as opposed to spray, knowing the aim punch is such a big issue, but he's not able to get anything to stick. As a result of the eco, do they go in for this one as well? No, it looks like it's going to be more of a half buy. Yeah, so, again, this goes back to what we were saying before, right, about Nifty. They desperately want to have an open his hands wherever possible, and he just simply can't afford one right now.
Also can't really afford to get the utility and armor you want as well on top of everything else. So this is where you afford what you can. Like, this is where you take your force buy as opposed to taking it in the last round. But you do it in such a way that you know you're not going to handicap yourself in the next round. Win or lose this round, you're still full buying next. That's the round that matters the most. But maybe you punch this one through as you have a bit of utility behind it. You have the armor. Tech 9s in close range battles can work out well, particularly coming out of Palace. But DD might be tricky on this ladder.
Oh, he was well and truly caught in transition. Fortunately, Captain Mo did lay one player out on the approach. They still concede a player themselves, though, and likely a bomb plant. HZ runs out of bullets. He's not going to be able to spray through the smoke long enough to deter the bomb planter. That's pretty much job done. Anything from here is a nice juicy bonus. And now that Nexa has claimed the kill onto somebody, they may be eyeing up a potential round victory. Molotov is going to destroy Nexa. It may very well burn him out alive. Nope, he just about survives with 20, finally finished off, but there's JKS with the op shot, and Renegades have done it. Not only a bomb plant, the round win.
Yeah, again, the icing on the cake was the victory. They were just looking mostly for a plant, but again, they gave themselves enough to be dangerous, and lo and behold, they find the 9th, and they still get their full buy, and they still have the economy of TyLoo in a vulnerable state, as you see players buying down to $0. As they've been reset, and the 2-round loss bonus coming in next round would be so little. Their highest money player would be like just over 2K. So this could be the tie for Renegades if they can punch this one through. And they're going to go for one of those 1-4 setups we were talking about. Again, they can be similar to TyLoo at times, being assertive. Ustillo with the spam, that'll help it along.
Oh no, DD getting 2 kills is horrible for Renegades. They're able to finally avenge their fallen comrades, and it will afford them a bomb plant, which is about to go down right now. Molotov put on the CT boxes just to stop the counteracting play from somebody, but he's going to come in straight behind it. Another Molotov did go down behind him, but it wasn't enough to stop him. Now it's down to this man, Nifty. He's had a bit of an off game so far. Hasn't quite had the impact we're expecting. Could this be his moment to shine? They've tickled the bomb. He's going to go for the peak. It is planted for him. He's going to have to come around the angle. And there's a beautiful headshot. Currently, it looks like they're going to be just trying to go for the defuse. And now Captain Mo is in a one-on-one against Nifty, who's picked up the second one. It's not going to get the third. So close, and it may be good enough, actually. Don't have enough time to defuse. Nifty pulls it off without even killing all of them.
Yeah, again, it just all came down to timing, so down to the wire, but it's Nifty getting that one headshot frag, stopped them from getting on the defuse as quick as they wanted to, and then there towards the end of the round, there just wasn't enough time. Bentet felt like he had to go for the frag. If he committed, he didn't have a kit. That gives more time for Nifty to peek out and be able to get the shot off and stop him from completing the defuse. So you understand why he wanted the kill there. Just unfortunate he didn't have that kit in his hands to have a better shot at getting the defuse off in time. And that wasn't a convincing round. I mean, DD did so much work there from under the Palace to perhaps put a stop to Renegades' fast attack, but it does ring true. And so, again, the repercussions are that there's not much there for TyLoo. Their money was reset. You can see guys hovering just above $2,000 because of it. Yet, we do have Bentet who saved that AK, and DD actually buys up the UMP, spends some money, somebody with the P250 flashbang. So they do put some money behind this to kind of even out the cash, really. And look at the fast-paced play from Renegades. Again, Ustillo finding these picks at middle to help open things up.
2 mollies have gone down. DD is left relatively uncontested, though, because neither of them were on the balcony. They were both in the van. So he's able to thread a couple of kills. P250 is going to come good for somebody. And then last 2 terrorists are isolated from one another. They're going to have to move in a little while longer. There's still cue the Jaws music because he's on the prowl, but the hunter becomes the hunted as Bentet puts him in his place. Now it's all on Nifty. Last seen him be apps.
He wanted that bomb really quickly, but he didn't quite pick it up.
Flash could afford him the bomb now. And indeed, he will pick that one up. Can he survive, though, is the next question. This is where that smoke is so useful for him. Can use it as his sanctuary. But he's going to get flanked himself. Once again, we're going to have a prowling CT moving in as his knife out.
He inspects it.
Oh, dear.
Couldn't expect that flank, obviously. That was a little bit much to be able to read into it that well. And so TyLoo, they take the 12th round here. So that minimal investment and the 1 gun save from Bentet comes up big. Again, it's DD with the play, just like he had over under balcony the previous round to slow Renegades down. They still lost round off the timer, but this time his kills help solidify a round win. And they will be pretty well off. It's Renegades now who have been reset. It's 4 Glocks. So no way this works out, you have to imagine. Maybe a bomb plant, though, because no one's actually in a site. So if they waterfall out now and plant default, they'll at least get that money.
And that's pretty much all that they were hoping for out of this round. Now, we have already seen them get a couple kills from this position and make it interesting, but it's a very different situation at hand. Last time they had a player in jungle who was getting around the back of window and being a real pain in the backside. But a bomb plant will afford them a better buy in the next one. TyLoo, though, take a 13-10 lead, and this has been a yo-yo of a map, just up and down constantly between the 2 teams. Looks like TyLoo are now starting to take a bit of a stranglehold over it, though.
Let's remember, we talked about this on the desk. It was that they have now 3 times met in the Asian Minor Finals.
Yep.
Granted, different lineups for both of these teams since the previous one that we saw back in October of last year in preparations for the E-League major that took place in January. But the brands are the same, and a lot of the core players are the same. Obviously, Azza, JKS, and Ustillo were around back then, and then for TyLoo, obviously guys like Somebody, Captain Mo, DD, they were around then as well. So the core 3 still intact. And the point is that it's always been TyLoo who has won the finals, and importantly, in both of those finals appearances, TyLoo won Mirage. And they also won Mirage in the best of 3 earlier in this tournament in the upper bracket final, despite the fact Renegades did ultimately win the series. So just a little bit of history there that Renegades and TyLoo's been their kryptonite in finals positions, but playing them on Mirage has also been a huge task for them. They've yet to be able to face head on and be successful.
Yeah, but as you said yourself, they have dethroned them already in this event. Let's see if they can get the double low. Last time they had to come from behind to win cash and overpass. This time it's going to need to be cobblestone if we go the distance. Somebody has been smoked out. Is still able to peer across towards the jungle area. Hasn't popped the vent just yet. That is going to be a sound cue for Renegades if they hear it. Already clumping in connector. They have a player in ramp. And all systems are go. Nexa with the entry. Gonna just make sure that no one else is lurking on the site. These are 2 very clean opening picks for Renegades, and that will afford them a bomb plant. Now DD's going to start to make a move from behind, but he can only get 1. And Bentet, this would be one hell of a clutch if he pulled this one off. But I feel as soon as he makes himself known, he is probably going to be a dead man. There is the first of what would need to be another 3. There's a second. He's making this costly for Renegades. He has full utility, and he does also have a kit. This needs to be mentioned because it isn't out the realms of possibility anymore. If he smokes the site and just tickles that bomb, he could get one of these players out into the open, and who knows what's going to happen. He's going for the flash, and he's going to go for the full defuse as well. It was close. A valiant attempt. But Renegades do hold on. If they'd lost that one, the tilt would be real.
Yeah, you were clenching your cheeks watching that one because it did come down to the wire. Bentet almost pulled off the miracle. You favor him in those situations. He's already up to 28 kills, by the way. He's definitely had himself a game, and with at least 3 rounds left to play, he's certainly on pace for 30, if not more. And that did come very close, very scary for Renegades. It's nice to see them go for that heavy connector play. That's something they like to do a lot on Mirage. I've watched them play in the NA scene, is just do these heavy 4-man connector type pushes. And that one does wind up succeeding, though not as clean as you may have hoped. The economic damage is real. A reset here would, in fact, force probably another save if TyLoo punched this one through. And that could, you know, really get them to map point at that point, right? Because, I mean, now Renegades would be in kind of a 4-spot to survive or hold TyLoo off for a free map point. So a lot of decisions would have to be made, probably a tactical timeout included.
But on the other side of the coin dust, if TyLoo loses this round, they're into an eco.
Yep.
This is a fulcrum point moment in the map.
You feel like it's either a tie or a good chance for TyLoo map point, depending on this round. So we see full mid control from Renegades, very standard stuff. One still playing outside A. I feel like it's going to be another heavy 4-man connector hit with JKS trying to make plays up A ramp. But the smokes are slowing them down just a bit. And there's a good rotation from TyLoo as well. 3 on site, and Bentet does pull towards market, though.
This is where Captain Mo typically shines, and there's 2 kills. Not too difficult in the end because they're preoccupied with the player in jungle, which was HZ. Nifty will get the free frag onto Bentet, but needs to go on to 3 more. We've already seen a miracle play by him earlier in the event. Not this time. Denied. Captain Mo with his 3rd of the round, securing the 14th round, and now that nightmare that you called has become a reality for Renegades.
And the tactical timeout also seems to be in effect here. You would imagine you have to think about what can you do here. Do you play for OT? Do you save it all? Do you trust yourself to be able to get this into extra rounds? Or do you think up one of your good 4-spot plays? You challenge TyLoo for map point. You know that you can try to break them, I guess, in their own money. Like, you have to kind of factor that in as well. I mean, you look at all the money that's sitting in the bank here for TyLoo. It's not that much. If you break them here, you could probably get towards the 13. But you can see their decision. It is to Glock up, 1 Deeg on Azza, Tech 9 Ustillo, no armor, no utility. They're playing for the OT.
First map of the grand finals. Renegades on the brink of a 1-0 deficit. Where there's Tech 9s, there's a way. Also a Deagle. But this is almost as bare as it gets for a T's perspective, and to make matters worse, Ustillo crab walks himself through, and he gets cooked. Like H said, DD very much will return the favor onto JKS, and Azza follows suit. As anticipated, this round is going away from the Aussies. And again, they have an NA and a Serbian player, but I would say they're honorary Aussies at this point. Most Australians would accept them as their own.
No, he's American. All right, America needs something right here. He's American, okay?
All right, mate.
But I'm sure the Australian scene is embracing him after his performance at this tournament. And he's already secured their team at least another berth into the major qualifier. That's the thing here. Both these teams have really accomplished their main goal, make it to the major qualifier.
Yep.
So even if you walk away from this losing, you at least know that the main objective has been accomplished. This is about pride and prize money now. I mean, it's either 30K for first place, 15K for second, and bragging rights, and possibly it's just for Renegades to get over that hurdle of always suffering losses to TyLoo in the finals of these minors. For TyLoo, it's to say, hey, even with the roster change, we're still the top of the Asian scene. Kind of hold on to that top spot.
And that's
not a good incendiary.
Shocking incendiary. I'm actually forced this player out of position. But as you highlighted, even though they have qualified for the major, there's still not for the major, sorry, for the qualifier for the major. That should be corrected. There is so much in terms of bragging rights, in terms of pride. They aren't even thinking about the prize money at this point. It's all about the victory. Somebody with his UMP up close. This could get him caught out more than anything else, but he will be smoking his retreat.
Oh, he's spotted too, and he doesn't want much part of this anymore. He'll hold behind the smoke. You got to think once that dissipates, he'll probably fade back. No extra shifting of personnel from TyLoo, though. They're just holding default, and Ustillo is going to find a frag here. I think he did it from ladder room into a player jungle, because they did get some mid control. They did drop him there, and then they're fading back to be apartments. They want to do this split, and they catch somebody pushing, trying to make a play. He knew they were out there. He goes for it. He pays dividends, and this might be Renegade's chance to survive this map a bit longer.
But this could also be Bentet's chance to just put so much misery on the heads of Renegades. 2 kills, more than you could really ask for from that position. Captain Mo is able to rummage together a push onto the site. And JKS ain't joking. Captain Mo is a dead man. DD with his M4 has been found, has been tagged and bagged. 15-12. Renegades aren't done with this just yet. Please, please, no server.
No, not like this.
Don't do this to us.
Not like this.
I mean, we do get a pretty sweet shot of that butterfly knife,
Yeah,
but I'd rather be
we do.
watching the game. Bruh.
Oh,
Saved.
saved.
For a second there, I feared for the worst us, but it looks like we can continue with this grand finals. 3 rounds required for Renegades to take us into overtime.
Yeah, that's their goal. They saved up for it. They're one step closer.
That's
And
a
look
bad
at the
smoke.
money on TyLoo.
Did you see that horrific smoke as well? But DD is going to get a kill at the very least before backing away.
Now, will they just hold on to this 5-on-4 advantage is my question, because I feel like oftentimes they've just kept going for more, and they've never really been punished for it yet, except for in that last round, somebody got punished trying to be a little bit antsy there in the B apartments, and that's why we're still playing this map. But we'll see what happens here. Nifty putting that AWP to work over towards the B apartments, looking to see if he can't pick up someone peeking. No one giving it to him, though. TyLoo playing fairly disciplined, which is great for them when you consider some of the other antics you see them pull off in these games. So what does Renegades want to do here? It seems like they're all going to gather up at B apartment, so it seems like they're just going to let him hold the angle while they pass by him, and they're going to look to execute this B bomb site. All their eggs are in this basket to try to keep this map going. There's 2 on B. No real rotations yet from TyLoo. They don't really have much info. They're not probing around for it, and here comes the push.
Such a good position by somebody, but he may have gone a little bit too early, and he's going to get picked off by Nifty, who's not far off his second frag. Nexus straight out onto the site. He's going to pick up one alongside JKS. It's gone horribly wrong. TyLoo get the first pick, and now they're hoping on DD's flank to salvage this round and pick themselves up the first map. DD with a second. Things starting to get a little bit dicey, but I actually think that Captain Mo assumed this round was over, so he's taken so long, and he's still in the CT boxes, so they're going to go for the save instead, even though DD was doing so much work by himself.
Yeah, maybe you thought they might have a shot. They had they had kits in play as well. Just not that much utility, and they are still a man down, to be fair. So I guess just thinking about their long-term economic gain, because, again, look at the fact that you see 3 guys at $0, 1 at 50. They need money before Renegades just gets the 14 for free. At least having these 2 WWPs and maybe like some P250s or something at least gives you something to work with in this next round. So definitely had the long-term economic plan in mind. But that got saved by 1 smoke from Renegades. They were stuck in that incendiary. It looked so bad. They were able to extinguish it, though, and get out. And Nifty hit a key op shot to even up the odds and give his team a fighting chance to trade, as, again, those rotations didn't really come in yet for TyLoo until it was already a bit too late. And so Renegades, they're not far off from forcing an OT, and these teams are no strangers to OT against each other. We saw them on Overpass take extra rounds in the upper bracket final.
And Renegades won that 19-15. Of course, on Overpass, as you highlighted, not quite the same thing as Mirage, but holding their nerve to take that and win the best of 3. We have 3 AWPs in play, 2 of which in the hands of TyLoo. Uh-oh. Not now, please. Please. Did that hit? I don't think it did, although Stillo is dead, so you guys have as much idea as we do, and the most anti
I'm triggered. I'm so triggered.
Ending
I
to a
couldn't be
map.
more triggered than I am right now.
Oh, no.
All right, let's take a pause, get the triggered out. Congratulations to TyLoo. They take the first map of the series. Again, Mirage is ungrabbable for Renegades. They have never really been able to take TyLoo on a Mirage in these Asian minors, and it holds true again. And now TyLoo are 1 step closer to thrice beating Renegades in Asian minor grand finals. So there you have it. What a game. At least, you know, the rounds we got to see, except for that last one, which is obviously the one we really wanted. You okay? Come on, man. It's okay. You can do it.
Right, well, let's look at the positives. Renegades came closer that time than they did last time. 16-10 was the score when they played each other in that previous best of 3. So they're getting closer to winning Mirage and beating their nemesis of TyLoo. But of course, as we mentioned, they did take TyLoo down from this point after going 1-0 behind just yesterday. So we know they have it in their locker. We know that last time they beat them on cash, I think it was 16-8 in the end. Fares pretty well for Renegades.
And certainly a third match could still be on the horizon, or TyLoo could just take it too. Let's get the panelists' thoughts on how they feel this grand final is going so far.
Thanks very much, Dus. Yes, we will get the thoughts of our panellists as TyLoo take an early lead in this grand final, 1-0. As again, they've proved they are top dogs on Mirage. Blair, as expected, really, but it was a decent enough game.
It was a pretty good game. I think in the second half, it was about Renegades losing. They keep getting reset every single time. All the TyLoo's CD side, to be honest, they play the same thing again, just giving up, relinquishing all map control. They're playing from the sides, and Renegades took advantage of that because they just keep bursting into the sides. JKS had a great game, great opening kills. Nifty had his moments as well. They were getting control of the sides, and and TyLoo were losing those rounds. They weren't able to go for the retake, but then just keep getting reset time and time again, losing anti-ecos, and of course, Mr. Bentet with a 30 bomb.
Yeah, and it's not easy for CT side either to go when the rounds go back and forth as they did. That keeps your economy very modest too, and you're always on that hanging off the cliff sort of. If you lose the next round, you're going to be in that economy hell. So kudos to TyLoo for making it work out as they did. And like Blair was saying there, yeah, passive play from TyLoo as we've come used to by now. And Renegade's not able to utilize that space they were given, really, to be honest with you. Absolutely. And Bentet, once again, he's just trying to make sure that we are making him the MVP of this tournament.
Yeah, he just wants every MVP, doesn't he? And he wants every frag in every round. He's sometimes he's cautious, sometimes he's aggressive. He's got a bit of everything in his locker, really, and he's shown yet again just how powerful we can be, winning rounds almost single-handedly. I mean, there was one round in particular where we were just sat there in awe watching him pick off player after player after player, and then you think, oh, he's just going to kill all 5 here, and then, oh no, little tactical smoke and a bit of a flash, and I'm going to defuse in the smoke. It didn't come off, but it's plays like that where you just suddenly get reminded. Not only has he got aim, but he's got brain.
It looked so possible. Like, it was an impossible scenario. And this guy, that's the thing, right? Let's not take anything away from DD, however. He was absolutely brilliant this game as well. Although Bentet, he just looks so flashy, so smart. He knows everything. But DD very quietly was doing all the hard work as well. Almost everyone in TyLoo stepped up. And here's an interesting thing. Yeah, there were some mistakes here and there, I do agree, but overall they were actually giving Renegades a little bit of respect, playing it, going for the retakes in sync, not just over-peaking like we saw them earlier. So they were playing with a little bit of respect as well towards Renegades, but overall Renegades, they needed a few more rounds on the CT side, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they had a great start. They were 4-0 up, and they just didn't seem to punish TyLoo, did they, in that first half? Absolutely
not. And TyLoo got, like, I think, 3 or 4 rounds in a row, like 2, 3 or 4 rounds in a row, so they managed to get, I think, 8 rounds on the T side. Anyways, it's going to be huge. On the CD side, it was very back and forth. It was extremely back and forth. Like, I don't think any team picked up 3 rounds in a row in the second half, if I'm not mistaken. It was like 2 rounds, 1 round, just going back and forth. But in the end, 8 rounds on the T side, it was going to be TyLoo's game.
MVP, courtesy of the Mummy, is once again this man, Bentet. 30 for 17 in this one. 8 trade kills this time round, 5 assists, a clutch, an opening kill, and 4 retakes as well.
Yeah, what really amazes me is that he's capable of getting multi-kills in situations when he's getting pressured a lot. He has 3 to 4 opponents on his crosshair, basically. Still managed to get at least 2 in more occasions than not. So I think that's something that really, for me at least, showcases how he can keep himself composed no matter what the situation is.
Absolutely, a hallmark of a very, very good player.
Indeed, no doubt about his player credentials, that's for sure. He's proved them massively here at the Asia Minor. One of the players that has also impressed us as well. He's also in the top 5 right now and captaining his team. Who else but Captain Mo? Let's hear from him now.
我觉得是找大哥加入，然后第一点就是能保证我们在国内还有一个就是稳定的一个，就稳定能拿国内的冠军之类的。然后还有就是我们就是换完人料之后，也想在国际上打出更好的成绩。招入大哥，我觉得一下他确实是亚洲公认的一个最强的选手，然后再加上他也有一些就中国的一些玩家之外的一些可能打法、一些想法，然后他都可以灌输给我们，然后我们就是也能就是产生一个新的变化吧。我觉得像最近Flash Gaming 就一些战绩，然后包括他就是之前赢了中国区的 Manor， 我觉得我们都有看的，然后我觉得他们确实从组队到出来打第一个比赛，我觉得他们实力还是蛮强的，然后 我觉得这样我们如果要是跟他们交手的话，我觉得这样还是有信心能战胜。我觉得这样他们虽然说也是刚换了人，然后但我觉得这样他们的实力还是非常的强的，因为他们从就是悉尼的比赛输过了之后，然后回去我也有看过他们的比赛，他们也战胜了好多就是厉害的强队。我觉得这样以我对速递的就是卡萨的就是一个就是感觉吧，他在赛前如果要是对阵我们的话，他肯定会做一些就是我们之前就是会去看一些我们之前的 demo， 然后来总结出来一些关键的东西，然后告诉他们的队员。
Well, he did watch a lot of demos. It didn't make any difference. TyLoo came through against Flash Gaming in the lower bracket and dispatched their rivals from China in 2 very easy maps indeed. That was earlier today. They also then pushed aside immunity in the lower bracket to reach this grand final and are currently sitting just 1 game away from picking up yet another title, the 3rd in a row at the Asia Minor. Can they do it? We'll find out very shortly, of course, as we head into Game 2. Why don't we pick up with our social media questions right now, though? We've had a number of those questions come through. Thanks very much for all of the questions over the last 4 days. We've been very entertained, found a lot of fun answering some of these questions. The latest one is, in a dystopic future, which region will be the first to abandon CSGO and which the last?
Why are you looking at me? In a dystopic future.
I thought you had the magic 8 ball.
All right. The first region to abandon CSGO would be Asia.
Okay.
Because they have League of Legends and then the rest of the other games. And I think Sweden would be the last country, I'd say. Because Counter-Strike in Sweden.
Yeah. Maybe Denmark?
I think all Nordics, basically.
Nordic countries, yeah.
Anywhere, let's just say Scandinavia.
Yeah.
Would be the last.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last bastion of Counter-Strike. It's a fairly easy question, but thank you very much. Very interesting. Let's take one more, and we'll then move on to discuss our second game ahead of us. At Natu, Asian teams you looked up to when you were a pro. So back when Counter-Strike was played in black and white in 1836, there were some players in Asia that were very good.
They were, yeah. WNV, for example, and then Project QR that became V-Made Fox, and those teams, Koreans and Chinese teams were the ones that we were mostly afraid of, mostly.
Lunatic High?
Huh?
Lunatic
High, obviously, yeah. I played against them, actually, with 4 Kings. We got beat by them, actually. Always hard to play against them because it's such a different, like, we didn't really get to see them play as much. We didn't get to play against them as much either. And they were so individually skilled, super hard to play against. And just the way they played the Counter-Strike was just a different mentality.
Different, wasn't it? Yeah, the way they played it. It was very interesting. What about you, Blair? Who do you look back on in the old days of Counter-Strike and think, God, they were really good in Asia?
It wasn't like the 1820s, but like back in 1975 was when, that's when it got me like interested in Asian Counter-Strike a bit, was when the Project KR guys came out, like Solo and all these guys, Solo and Bale and all these guys, and when they were beating some of the teams, which I used to be like, oh, these guys are the gods of CS, and when they started beating, I'm like, wow, like, you know, Asia does have something going for them. And also the storyline, right? That famous story about Solo and his team. They had no one to play against Project KR in Asia, that they used to sit in an empty server for months at an end, just playing retake against each other 3v2, and they come out and they just destroy some of the teams. And I think that team, the level that team reached, is what every Asian team playing in the minor or wherever should be looking up to at least achieve.
Actually, I think a story I've told before as well is my first encounter with the Asian Counter-Strike personally was at a CPL event in 2005, I want to say, 2004. I was doing a shootout for a sponsor, and a bunch of kids, queuing up to play some one-on-one aim maps, and then this Korean kid sits down. And all he does is duck jump behind a box and headshot me right away. And I'm like, all right then. Turned out to be a solo. Turned out to be a pretty good Counter-Strike player.
I kind of felt like that was going that way. Yeah. I'm surprised there's one other team in that mix that no one's mentioned yet. They had a little brief run, and they did spark a current player, actually, K29. Yeah. Kazakhstan. I mean, they will class as an Asian team.
WCGs were their bread and butter.
They were. I mean, they often qualified because they didn't have any competition down there. But they also did well one year. I think it was 2005 in Singapore. I think they reached the final against 3D.
The one where there was a source, yes.
Yep.
The game that nobody wants to remember, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. But they had a Dren.
They had a Dren, yes.
Yeah. Still playing?
Sure, yeah.
Well, still sort of playing.
The king of the ping.
Yeah.
The king of the ping. Highest ping ever. But the thing is, again, all those Kazakhstan, but I think they're more considered EU, European,
yeah.
But yes.
Because they used to play a lot with the Russians as well.
True.
So yeah, they're often were thought of as being sort of semi-European, but geographically speaking, I mean, they're right over here in Asia, right?
Geographically speaking, yeah, Russia's part of Asia in that case.
Yeah,
like,
well,
so,
true.
so you know, Dosha, good Asian player.
Yeah, is that what you're doing? That's a stretch now, isn't it?
I am desperate.
Okay.
I am desperate.
That's okay. I mean, we adopt lots of North Americans over to Europe, and Europe gets adopted by North American teams
Nifty's
as well.
now
He's an
Australian.
Australian. He's got an Australian passport from now on.
Yeah, absolutely.
He had to get 100 AWP kills here, and then he was confirmed. So that's already enough. Let's take one final question, as I'm hearing the players aren't quite ready yet for game number 2. On a 1 to 10 scale, how surprised were you by yesterday's results?
8, 9, 9. Yeah.
I'm hard to put a number on it. I mean, I think Immunity in the way they played was surprising. Heartbreaking how horribly it ended today, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it would be a solid 7. I'd say, for me, and it's because of Immunity. I thought, they had, they were amongst there to be the teams to be going forward in this tournament, and I think that's why I'm putting it at 7. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, anyone that's joining us now is looking at it and thinking, it's Renegades versus TyLoo. Of course it is exactly what we predicted at the start of the tournament. It is what we predicted, but they've come about this in a very different way. And yesterday, the talk in the morning, at least, was amongst everyone here, the buzz was it could actually be both the Chinese teams through fighting in the upper bracket. And it didn't happen that way at all. And I think that was the biggest surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah, the opposite really did happen, yeah. And I mean, it's thanks to Flash, really, for being underwhelming, to be honest with you. They were the ones.
Which was such a shocker, because they were amazing in the group stage.
Exactly.
Phenomenal. And just...
Yeah.
They went down under.
They went down under.
They played Australian Survival and they lost. They got mauled by the
eaten
alligators.
I was going to say they got eaten by alligators.
Absolutely.
Stingrays, snakes.
Yeah. Or spiders or any of the other deadly animals. I don't even know how there's many people alive in Australia with all the things you have to put up with down there. We're going to move on to our second game very shortly. So as we head into this second map, it's going to be cash. We've already seen that Renegades can play this map really well. They've played it against TyLoo very well. Are we expecting the same?
Yeah. It's cash after all, so I mean, it's definitely
they
going to
have
be
their own name for the map, so I'm assuming that it should go the way of Renegades.
Yeah. So what would TyLoo have done from their previous match against them on the same map to improve this time round? We saw the improvement obviously from Renegades on Mirage.
Absolutely. I think I really feel TyLoo should just mix it up a lot. Like, if you looked at Mirage, the way they play the CD set, it was the same setup all over again. Just the Renegades weren't able to take advantage of it. They should really mix it up, be much more floaty, and also just enable Bentet to come into the site, get those multi-kills he just keeps getting, and they need to nerf Nifty and his op. They just need to nerf him, or else it's going to be Renegades taking this map. I'm quite sure about it.
We saw an interesting setup. It wasn't quite the Olaf boost, but it wasn't far off. It was a slightly different boost further back into the site from TyLoo. Did you see that earlier?
Cash?
Yeah, no, on Overpass. I'm just bringing up something slightly different here.
The wall bang.
The wall bang. Are we going to see something different here on Cash?
I don't think so.
Is there anything? Because how did they just bust that out all of a sudden?
I think it will be different if Nifty doesn't win a 1-on-5.
That's
a great start, by the way.
Let's not have Nifty win a 1-on-5, and maybe TyLoo have a chance.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's not have that happen again.
All right. Any body shots? Do you think?
Yeah, Captain Moore actually got a body shot.
There wasn't there?
There was
yesterday,
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, they'll probably try that one.
They'll probably try some crazy stuff.
Are you surprised that we haven't seen more inventiveness?
Not really, because these guys, I mean, it matters a lot to them, and this matchup in particular, it's about pride, it's about money as well. So TyLoo, if you saw TyLoo play today on the first map, if you notice, it was kind of different. It was not the all-out. It wasn't Bendit pushing in towards a monster and hunting for frags. They're actually playing it a little bit more passively, a little bit more safe. They want to win this, so I don't think they're going to be trying anything crazy unless they really push it back against the wall. But I would love to see a little bit more inventiveness coming out from TyLoo.
Yeah, and the same thing for Renegades. They seem to be sort of struggling to play at their basic standard at the moment. And do you feel like they've got back there over the course of the last 3 days? I
mean, I think this map really seems to be suiting them super well. It needs a lot of ability to adapting, a lot of mobility, and that's some Renegades have showcased that they can really do, and some solid executes as well. And I think gradually, if you look at the tournament, definitely they've been improving massively. First, I wasn't sure they were going to make it all the way to even play in the finals. So yeah, it's definitely been a lot better for them. And I think this map, it's going to a third map anyway in the big picture of this one.
All right. I'm hearing that there is a small issue with one of the TyLoo PC players' PCs right now. So we're going to head to a break, and when we come back, hopefully that'll be fixed, and we can get on with the grand final between Renegades and TyLoo.